Hi, I'm Lynn, and here's what's happening at Ewetopia Farms today. We stand by how we do it here. We wait till they're weaned. I had never heard of sore mouth. I didn't know what it was, and my entire flock broke out with sores. I'm kind of glad it happened. Weird, right? Okay, I didn't touch it. In my opinion, sore mouth is not one of them. Let's get started. First thing every day, of course, on a farm is the feeding of the sheep. Right now we start off in the main barn because that's closest to the house, and we don't have too many sheep in the main barn at the moment because this is where we do the bulk of our lambing. And right now all we have in here are our rams, which Arnie just rolled out a bale of hay for. And then we have a few straggler ewes that he's forking some fresh hay over to in the other barn, and that's it for here right now. Now it's going to be busy in here shortly because we're going to be shearing sheep here in hopefully a week or so. And that means we'll be shipping a whole bunch of sheep over here. These guys are little masters at getting in the feeder now. Are you two up to no good? I can see that. Hi. Are they in your food? Yeah, these guys are going to go over to coverall shortly, but we do think one ewe is very, very close to lambing, so we're just going to hold off so that they can stay together in this pen. But these two have done severely well. Is that good, Mom? Yeah, that looks really good. Are you enjoying the food too? Mommy still has her kittens under here. They are so tiny. You just can't believe how small. I thought she would have moved them because we discovered them, but so far this is day 2 here in this spot. So today we're going to give Nani and the ram lamb their final Glanvac 6 shot. We're also going to talk about something that has raised its ugly head today, and that's sore mouth or ORF. And we're going to explain how sheep get it and what the ramifications of having it are. We're also going to talk about our daily routines, and we're going to have a look at those weaned lambs and see how they're making out today. So I didn't feed Nani this morning because she's plenty big enough. Here she is. So we're just going to quickly give her second shot. We only did 2 of our sheep early, if you saw our previous video. The ones that were actually acting really gluttonous. And that ram, we gotta go find him. I'll find him for you. Because we didn't want her to have overeating disease or suffer from it, because she is very, very greedy and gluttonous, and it's usually, if you're going to have problems with sheep getting overeating problems, it's those really, really greedy ones that just guzzle things down. So she's had her 2 shots, and should be good to go. And this is the other guy getting his second shot. We just did the 2 that we know, and the rest will get their shots as soon as they're weaned off from their moms. And there was a lot of debate and discussion about us doing the shots after they're weaned, and we stand by how we do it here. We wait till they're weaned. We don't separate the lambs out while they're still with their moms and run them through chutes to give them their shots, mainly because it's extremely inconvenient for us when they're in groups all over the place and we have chutes in different barns. And The main reason is that because our ewes are in the 250-pound range, there's way more risk of the lambs getting injured running them through chutes with moms around than there is of their contracting any disease by the time we get to our vaccinating the lambs. Our ewes were vaccinated prior to having lambs, so the lambs are technically covered for around 3 months for any diseases, and then we start weaning our lambs anyway. So when we actually get around to vaccinating our lambs, we're only really about a month behind, and you can see our sheep. You can watch years of videos. We don't have very many health issues here whatsoever, not ones that affect becoming sick or dying. So we're standing by it. We only did Nani because she's a really greedy girl, and we did that ram lamb because I recognize him and he's one that I want to keep as a keeper just to increase my odds. But since we vaccinated them, they are still around and still healthy. But then again, so are all the others. When I was feeding Nani her bottle the other day, I noticed that she had a little sore on her lips. And here she is. Can we see your sore? Can we see it? Hey, Nani. She's, like I say, she's so greedy. She's just always eating. That's why she grows so well. Because she's a full-figured girl and loves her food. Sweetheart, can I look at your face? We'll try get hold of her here. There. Come on. There we go. There, see? See, she's got a little tiny sore on the top of her mouth there. You may also notice your sheep get sores at the corner of their mouths or anywhere around the nose and mouth area. That is something called sore mouth or ORF. It is a virus similar to herpes, which causes cold sores in humans. And like chicken pox, it's the same type of virus. So sore mouth is considered I guess a disease that sheep get. It is extremely contagious. So if one sheep gets it and they touch where that sheep has been, like sharing bottles, sharing feeders, anything like that, another lamb can get it. Just because they are exposed to it doesn't mean that they will. And if your flock has had sore mouth for years and years and years, then you tend to only have a couple of cases of it each year, and it will be in the lambs. We do have sore mouth on our farm. We got it actually probably over 20 years ago. And I know at the time that it first appeared on my farm that we had never had it before and that my sheep were not immune to it, because it was when I was breeding Shetlands, and that was really in the start of my sheep farming career, so it was more like 25 years ago. And I never had any issues. I was fairly new to sheep farming and sheep and what to look for and what to expect. So I was learning. And I had just weaned all my Shetland lambs and they were out grazing in pasture. And I purchased some more sheep in to expand my flock. Unbeknownst to me, those sheep had sore mouth. I had never heard of sore mouth. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't recognize that there were any issues with the sheep I purchased. But a few weeks later, I definitely knew what sore mouth was all about. And I also knew that my sheep had never had it before, because my entire flock broke out with sores on their mouths. So the sores, like you saw on Nani, are usually just like a pimple. It gets inflamed and it will scab over, and the scab will eventually drop off. And once the scab drops off, it's not contagious anymore. But until then, it is contagious. Those sores can also go inside their mouth, and that's when the issues can arise. It can go down their throat a little bit too, and in their nose, making it difficult for them to eat and swallow and sometimes breathe. Like I said, we've been exposed to it for 25 years now, and I've never had any of those things happen with my sheep where they couldn't eat or drink or have any breathing problems. Never, and I kid you not. But when it first happened and I saw all my Shetlands with it, I was horrified and devastated. I thought my whole flock was at risk, that they were gonna die. I read on the internet about it, and that made me even more scared. And I was angry because I felt like someone misled me and brought this into my flock, and I had a clean flock. And it was just awful. But the reason I wanted to talk to you about it today is because people tend to read stuff on the internet or hear what other people say about various sheep illnesses and diseases, and they put a panic into people, and they cause mass cullings and stuff. And really, you need to take a breath and calm down and realize that a lot of posts are just sensationalist to get views and to make people afraid, and maybe to make it feel like if you have this, you have a terrible flock. So I want to say it's not all that bad. In fact, in hindsight, looking back at my Shetlands getting infected that time, I'm kind of glad it happened. Weird, right? Well, there's a reason I'm happy about that. Because my Shetlands, when they got it, like I say, they had just weaned their lambs. So everybody got it on their lips. The mothers, the lambs, everybody. But the lambs weren't nursing anymore. One problem with sore mouth, if your ewe has never had sore mouth before and the lamb gets it and they nurse, because the teat can have abrasions on it from lambs sucking and their teeth putting little cuts on the nipples, that sore mouth can go in through those lesions and it can infect the ewe's udder. And that's the only bad thing I find that can really happen with sore mouth. Like I say, I've never noticed a lamb dying or getting sick even from it. It's just uncomfortable. But a ewe can get mastitis if she gets an infection in her udder. So that's never a good thing. So all my Shetlands got through it all, and I overcame my initial dread and fear of it, thinking my flock was horrible. And after a couple of weeks, they were all fine, and nothing came of it. But because when the scabs break off, they drop into the bedding pack or the pastures or wherever it is, and it's a really long living virus. So once you've had it on your farm, it basically stays forever. And I guess that's a bad thing about it. It's there forever. However, if it's your flock and it's a closed flock, the sheep will rarely suffer from it ever again. With me, all my sheep got it that first time, and sore mouth only popped up every once in a blue moon in some of the lambs. It never affected my ewes. I never lost any udders. Like I said, I never lost any lambs. But it did pop up every now and then on the lambs' mouths. And so Sore mouth or ORF behaves like chicken pox. Once you've had it, you're immune to it for life. It will never show up again. So I kind of feel now that our flock is kind of like a vaccinated flock. It has immunity to sore mouth. So I don't have to worry about any of the ewes. And the lambs, you'll watch, we've got about, 500 lambs here. And you'll see that we'll only have a couple of cases of sore mouth. Usually we have 1 to 6 a year, I'd say, out of all those lambs. And it will go away in a couple of weeks, and they'll all be good to go. So flock immunity, it's kind of a good thing. So now when other sheep come in here, if we get a ram or something, I don't have to worry about them passing on sore mouth to my flock because they're all okay with it. However, that being said, we sell breeding stock. And if there is an outbreak of sore mouth on the farm and people are coming to buy lambs, I will never, ever, ever let a sheep leave the property who has active sore mouth, because I don't feel that's the right thing to do. You saw me vaccinating Nani earlier. Vaccines do not cover sore mouth. Sore mouth is a virus. Vaccines do not work against it, and so you basically just have to let it run its course. One really bad thing about sore mouth, and again, it's never happened to me, but I will tell you about it, and it won't usually be an issue for most people anyway, but it would be more an issue for someone like me who handles and pets their sheep all the time, is that because it's a virus, it gets into sores and cuts and scrapes and stuff if you touch it. It's a contact thing. So if you're handling your sheep like you're deworming them or you're just petting them and stuff and they've got sore mouth, wear gloves. Stay away from it, because I've heard that if a human gets sore mouth on their hands, it forms a sore. And it's apparently really, really painful and lasts a really, really long time on a person. Like I say, I've never had it, but it's apparently not a nice one. So you have to be much more careful when you're handling sheep if you see a sore. Now here's another one. Notice this ewe lamb here that has a little sore on her mouth too. And we're in this is the second oldest group of lambs, not the oldest group. I don't see it in any of the lambs we just weaned, but I see it in this group, and I don't see it in any of the younger lambs. Generally, sore mouth is triggered by some sort of stress in their life. And stresses are things such as being shipped. Weaning is a big one. At our place, because we're not shipping them, it's usually always associated with weaning. Weaning from mom, weaning from bottles. And as you know, this pen right now is being weaned from their bottles. And I'm seeing the sore mouth in the bottle babies. So it's not like the weaning causes it, but because their immune system is under a little stress, it weakens their immunity a little bit, I guess, and they're more susceptible to something in their environment picking it up, and that's what's happened here. Yes, we have a whole bunch of sheep screaming in the other barn being weaned right now. I'm gonna keep looking for signs of sore mouth there so I can show you if it pops up. But so far so good in that barn. I don't see it at all. So if one of them in the barn or the pen gets it, that's the pen that's most likely to have a little breakout. Hi, you don't have it? No, you're free and clear. Stay away from those infected girls. You should wear a mask. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you're very nice though. Yeah, you're very nice. Who are you? Yeah. Oh, or is that? Do you have a little bit over there? Let me look. Oh my goodness, you do. Okay, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. It was on this side. Look it. There we go. That's a nasty thing. Yeah, you do have it. Are you the carrier? Some people, they talk about what you can do to put on the sores. I wouldn't put anything on them. It's not going to cure it. It's a virus. It really has to run its course. And like I said, you don't want to be touching it because you don't want to risk getting it yourself. And even if you use gloves and you're going to put like, I don't know, Vaseline on it or something just to soften it up, you would have to keep changing gloves every time so you don't pass it on to other sheep or spread it around. I just don't see it as necessary whatsoever. It's kind of like chicken pox. If you get chicken pox, you just got to grin and bear it for a week and you're good to go for the rest of your life. So hopefully I covered just about everything on sore mouth. There's really not much to know. It's like chicken pox. It's highly contagious to humans too. It's not the end of your flock. Life goes on after sore mouth. The good thing about it is if you get it, you have a lot of immunity in your sheep. So if there is an outbreak, it's going to be a mild outbreak. There are far, far worse things than sore mouth on a sheep farm that are life-threatening and devastating for your flock. And in my opinion, sore mouth is not one of them. So maybe some other people have had other experiences with sore mouth in their flock. Maybe some bad experiences, or maybe they found the same thing. If you have anything else you can add about it, be sure to leave a comment down below. But like I say, we've never had an issue with it at all. It's just an inconvenience more than anything. I've just walked into the newly weaned group of sheep. As you know, we added a bunch of Dorsets to this group yesterday. Hi, how you feeling now? See, now that they're not with their moms, they're a little more curious and friendly and exploring their environment. They're getting used to the whole thing. It's noisy here, but actually a lot of them that are making the noise are the ewes on the other side because it's also feeding time. But everybody looks to have coped really well. And back to sore mouth. If anyone has experienced bad results from having sore mouth, like lambs actually dying or ewes dying, I'm wondering if that's partly because the sheep were in poorer condition or poorer health to begin with. Because like I say, we have never had any ill effects from it except for the visible sore. But our sheep are in really, really good condition and health and have no worm issues or any other issues going on. So their immunity is quite high. So could that be playing a part to people who maybe experience more? Or is it just an exaggeration to put the fear into people? Down here with these lambs, like I say, these are the highly stressed lambs, but usually when you sit down, they all come over and have a look at you. And that's when I can see if any of these are showing signs of sore mouth. And they're not. This lamb here in the middle, you'll see some stuff on its nose. And you may think it's scabs or sore mouth, but that definitely is not. What's happened here is he's been licking the creep feed and there's soybean meal in it, and it congeals on their lips. So definitely not sore mouth. Sore mouth is inflamed. It's got scabs. It will bleed when the scabs fall off. Not to be mistaken for a greedy sheep who's eating a lot of creep feed. Hi. Hi. You guys look like you're feeling much better now. Yes, you are. Hi, you look better too, and you just got weaned. So it's a sad time weaning, but it's remarkable how quickly they get over it. My goodness, you have a strong, powerful face. You do. Ben tried to get in at the drink or two, because today's a hot day. But the sheep aren't there. They let him share. There you go. Everybody needs to get along and share. This is the fascination a human and a dog create if you sit in a pen of lambs. Well, I guess I'll leave these guys to it, and we'll go see what Arnie got today. The other day he got some pellet forks, and today he's got another surprise to help him with his crops that are gonna hopefully be starting soon. The ravens are making some noise today. Oh, you can see them moving around in there. You gotta wonder how they don't fall out of the nest. We had a bad windstorm the other day, and we were a little worried that the wind would knock the nest down. But they must do a really good job with it, because it's still there, and you can see the babies are really growing. Next year, maybe before they nest, we might see what we can do about getting a camera up there. Obviously, you can't do it now because I'm sure they would not be too pleased and attack us on the way up the ladder. So this is the newest thing on the farm today. Arnie just drove up with it after having it shipped here from Western Ontario. And since we've already done a video today on sore mouth and vaccinating sheep and looking at the weaned lambs, we'll let Arnie explain this contraption that he bought for a video tomorrow. So stay tuned for Arnie's story on how he never gets any new equipment.
I'll do it right now.
Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope we clarified sore mouth or ORF a little bit more today, and maybe took some of the fear out of it without minimizing it too much either. If you found the video helpful, or you enjoyed it, please remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. So see you in the next one. Bye for now.